Participants and esteemed panel of experts, I am Ms. Limayang Pongoner, moderator for today. I, on behalf of Chang College Tuensang and IQAC cluster, warmly welcome you all to the fourth and last day of this workshop on preparation of revised AQAR. Firstly, I would like to read out the order of program for the benefit of all the participants. The first technical session on Criterion 6 will be discussed by Mr. Srihari Pingle from Sangamner Nagapalika College, Sangamner. The second technical session on Criterion 7 will be discussed by Mrs. Gauri Devastale from Abeda Inamdar College, Pune. Thereafter, feedback from the participants will be entertained from 6:30 p.m. to 6:45 p.m. And finally, wind up the workshop with valedictory speeches from Dr. S. Sangar, Advisor, IQAC Cluster, and Dr. L.J. Niken Jamir, Associate Professor, Workshop Secretary. Moving on, the first speaker for today is Dr. Srihari Pingle, Assistant Professor, Department of Zoology and IQAC Coordinator, Sangamner Nagarpalika College, Sangamner, Ahmednagar, Maharashtra. Mr. Pingle is also one of the founding members of IQAC Cluster. He has published widely, which includes 19 textbooks. He has also completed 1 minor research project and guided 10 postgraduate research projects. I would like to remind our esteemed resource persons that each session consists of 45 minutes, followed by Q&A session. Sir, we are eager to hear from you. You may kindly proceed. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, ma'am, for the kind introduction. It gives me pleasure to present before all the participants of this 4-day national workshop, online workshop on revised AQAR. Before I share the screen, I acknowledge South Chang College Principal Professor Zudin, Coordinator Professor Walling, and Secretary Dr. Zamir for inviting us to interact with participants across the nation. Today, in this first session, we'll be talking on Criterion 6. And as you all know, Criterion 6 is about governance, leadership, and management. Before I proceed, I would just like to confirm from the organizers if I'm audible and my screen is shared.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Clearly.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So Criterion 6, governance, leadership, and management. Because we have been allotted 45 minutes, so we'll be rather quick in discussing this particular criterion. So you see that it has got a weightage of 100 as far as NAC manual is concerned. However, the questions which are included in this criterion, they make soul of the higher education institution, because all the policies that are coming, all the vision that is coming is from this particular criterion. All in all, there are 16 questions that one has to address. Out of this, 10 are qualitative and 6 are quantitative. So what are the various key areas which you have to address? Key indicators which you have to address. So as many as 5 key indicators are there: institutional vision and leadership, strategy development and deployment, faculty empowerment strategies, financial management and resource mobilization, and internal quality assurance system. So this is how this criterion goes. Now, as far as AQR is concerned, or for that matter, even SSR is concerned, only difference between SSR and AQR is when you accumulate 5 AQR, that will make a complete SSR. Or the word limits may change. So from 200 words in qualitative questions, in SSR, you may elaborate your answer up to 500 words. Otherwise, the questions more or less remain same except for a few criterion. For example, in criterion 4, there might be some change as respect to infrastructure you might have addressed yesterday also. So 6.1.1, it talks about effective leadership in tune with the vision and mission. Whether your institution, it exhibits effective leadership in tune with vision and mission. For this question to be answered, you must clearly know what is a mission and what is a vision. I had gone through the website of South Chang College, and wherever we visit, where are we, providing our services, we are keen to go through their websites. Now, when I talk about vision, you will probably go and revisit your vision that you need to actually. Vision is a short statement which focuses on tomorrow as to what you want to be ultimately. For example, the vision statement of my institution is spread knowledge unto the last. Now, spreading knowledge unto the last will not end in a day or two, will not end in a year or so, but it will be an ongoing process, maybe for a decade or more. So it is something which is focusing on future. However, if you compare it with the mission, it is something that you are doing today. So the mission focuses on what you are doing today. And when you bring them together, your institutional functioning is streamlined. And therefore, in this answer, which is a qualitative one, in 200 words for AQAC, you have to summarize what are those activities which are conducted in your institution and are in line with the vision and mission of your institution. So you can jot down all those activities in the text box which is given in the NAC portal. And additionally, what you can do is, like you have on your website, the vision and mission along with the objectives posted, you can give that link as an additional information. What you can also do is make a PDF copy of vision mission, which has been approved in your regulatory body, signed by the authorities, and upload that. Because one of the important feature of vision and mission is it should be available and known to all the stakeholders of your institution. And therefore, it should be displayed at some sites, some recognizable sites of your institution, including the websites, the letterheads, etc. So this is the example I usually give. A vision statement is a short, crisp statement, just like Sriram College of Commerce, or just like I told you, my college statement, vision statement, spread knowledge unto the last, or a college of global choice. But what they are doing today to be the college of global choice is their mission statement. What they are doing today, they are bringing in excellence in teaching and research. They are enriching local, national, and international communities through research. They are inculcating skills in alumni. They are publishing academic and educational material. So this is what is being done today in present. And what that results in future is the vision, a college of global choice. So this is how we need to address the vision and mission. Second thing is 612, effective leadership. Now, if you really want to be a leader rather than to be a boss, then you have to ensure two things. One, decentralization, and two, participative management. What do you understand by decentralization and participative management? If I am the principal of an institution, it is not my sole responsibility, or in fact, it is not my responsibility as a person alone to ensure that the quality is inculcated or quality is brought into the system. It is a responsibility that I share with other stakeholders as well, and therefore I have to decentralize. That means share the responsibilities with the other, let them shoulder some responsibility. And when they do so, participative management comes. That means every stakeholder has a say. So you want many people in the decision-making bodies. And this is the difference between decentralization and centralization. You have a programmed, planned distribution or delegation of authority, what we call it. So if this is head of the institution, he has some subordinates who has further subordinates who are looking after and taking care of the responsibilities in the institution. So you explain who these participants are. Maybe you have principals, vice principals, head of the departments, you have supervisors, you have coordinators, co-coordinators, committee members, etc., etc. What are the responsibilities shared with them? And sharing these responsibilities with them, has it led to some significant outcome due to their participation? For example, you might be having an examination department. You might be having a cultural forum. So when you appoint somebody as the coordinator of that particular committee, and he further takes help of some of the members, does that increase the efficiency of the particular system? So final output should be an increase in the efficiency, and therefore you have to cite a case study in 500 words where you see that decentralization and participative management has led to efficiency and increase in efficiency. And the evidence that you can probably offer to peer team when they visit you is minutes of meetings, action taken reports, and the committees which can be given as an example are College Development Committee or the administrative body which you might be having in Nagaland or in any other part of India, IQAC itself, admission committee, examination committee, student council. All these committees have representation from almost all the members. You have representatives from students, you have representative from non-teaching employees, you have representative from teachers, you have representative from management council, and they all come together to take important decision of the institution. So take one example and present that case study. 6.2.1 is the next question, which talks about the strategic or perspective plan which is being effectively deployed in your institution. Having a plan itself is not enough. If you are having a good plan, you have to have a strategy also to complement that plan. And what do you understand? What is the difference between a plan and a strategy? So I plan to have money, as I always say, I plan to have money. But to have money, you can have different strategies. How do you actually focus when you are working on the ground? I can either take bribe to make money, or I can work hard to make money. So these are two different strategies for a single plan. So you can have a plan to increase the research publication, but what is the strategy? You'll probably, promote your teachers to go for research publications in good, reputed, peer-reviewed international journals, and don't fall for predatory journals. That is a strategy. So having publications, research publication can be a plan, but then you have different strategies. Going for predatory journals or going for good quality journals, right? So for that to having a perspective plan in your hands for your institution, you first need to do your baseline assessment as to what is your position today. What are those areas where you're lagging? And accordingly you vision, I need to increase 10-fold in certain area. I need to increase 50 folds in certain area. And when you do that visioning, you make a long-term strategy. Step number 1, step number 2, step number 3, step number 4. Finally, what would be the outcome? And that is called as action planning. And when you implement it, you again monitor whether the things are going as per your plan or not. And that is called as action taken report. So when you monitor the things, you write down an action taken report. And if the things are not going right, then you come back to action planning. That means something somewhere is going wrong. You correct it and implement it again. That is the whole story of bringing quality into the system. Put this ATR along with strategic or perspective plan on your institutional website. Now you have to be very, very careful when you are making a plan, whether strategic or perspective plan. I've given this example from Mint, the online news paper that comes up. Paper, I won't say. Online news that comes up. Now there is a news which says that India to become $5 trillion economy by 2024-25. This is something which has been, promised by government, I would say. India to become $5 trillion economy by 24-25. Now your plan should be like this, smart plan. It has to be very specific. They are talking about economy. Whose economy? They're talking about Indian economy. So specific. Is it measurable? They want to increase the economy. To what extent? They want to make it $5 trillion economy. So it is measurable. But then you may ask somebody, from the other side of the government, from the opposition, they may say it is not achievable. This is like, dreaming of something which you cannot do. So Modi government might feel that this is achievable, $5 trillion economy. Is it relevant? Do you really want to, emphasize so much on economy? So yes, it is relevant. And is it timely or time bound? So you would say, yes, they have set a deadline for themselves, 2024-25. So whatever plans you are making, your plans have to be like this only, smart plans. Otherwise, you would just, in 10 years, we would like to increase the research output. To what extent? How? That has to be mentioned. So a big document would be generated, and that would be probably for a decade or so, 2020 to 2030. For example, if you go to my website, you will see a perspective plan of 2020-30 right now on my website. Effective and efficient functioning of the institutional body is the next question, 6.2.2. Effective and efficient functioning of the institutional bodies. There are several institutional bodies, some of which we talked about just now. There is governing body, there is academic council, there is board of studies, there is college development committee, there is cultural forum, there is student council, there is a cell against sexual harassment, there is an anti-ragging cell, and so on. So many bodies are there in the institution. But what makes those bodies work effectively and efficiently is defining their roles and responsibility. That is very important. And roles and responsibilities are defined when you have defined the policies and procedures. You have a well-defined setup, administrative setup. You have rules which are defined. And accordingly, you make the appointments. So when you are describing this particular answer, you have to focus whether you have policies and procedures. If again you go through the website of my institution, sangamnercollege.edu.in, under the IQAC tab, you would find the policies and procedures. As many as 17 to 20 policies and procedures for different things have been written. And as might have been discussed, IQAC cluster has come up with a beautiful booklet on policies and procedures in higher education system. A wonderful booklet that describes how policies and procedures should be written. Having said that, your policies and procedures will only work when you have a hierarchical distribution of your stakeholders, of your employee, of your staff, and that is called as organizational chart. There has to be some leader, but then leader has to, share the responsibilities with others, like we have discussed in case of decentralization and participative management. So what is that structure of the organization you are having? What is the relation between different ranks of the organization? And is there only one-sided flow of information, or there is two-sided flow of the information? For example, now you can see organogram of my institution. This is also available on my institutional website. If you look at this organogram, there is a management council at the top, but parallel to the governing body, academic council and board of studies, there is also head of the institution principal. But from the principal, the flow of information towards the student support services, research development committee, other statutory committees, monitoring of code of conduct committee, etc., etc. But you see here, there's a two-way flow between governing body and the principal. There's a two-way flow between IQAC, academic council, governing bodies, board of studies, finance committee, etc., etc. So this flow of information and flow of authority is also very important when you are drafting an organogram. Leader does not mean that there will only be a downward flow of information. There has to be a two-way flow of information as well. So you will have to upload an organogram of this sort when you are submitting your AQAR. So of course you can take help of this as well. I usually make all these graphics on website called as Canva, right? Instead of making them on Word or PowerPoint, I make them on Canva. Canva is a beautiful site which gives you all these facilities of making graphics. Coming to 623, implementation of e-governance. I think this is inevitable nowadays, because the amount of work is so exhaustive and vast these days. If you are not bringing an e-governance into your institution, you will be spending too much of time in doing things manually. As like Professor Kangude might have told you yesterday, importance of paperless documentation. So you want everything at the tip of your fingers, and therefore e-governance or electronic governance has to be brought in. Now, if you're talking about electronic governance, NAC is expecting it in 4 areas. You can have it in many more areas. NAC is expecting it in administration, finance and accounts, student admission and support, and examination. Even if you have this in all these 4 areas, good to go, right? So what they're asking for when did you, start implementing your e-governance? So you write the year of implementation. Then from which vendor did you, hire or buy this particular ERP or any software pertaining to e-governance, and link to relevant website. If probably the link lands on the online admission or OPAC of your institution, you can provide the link to the website also, or any document with respect to this. So this is what they're asking for. Do you have an ERP document with you, right? Do you have a policy of e-governance? So you need to have an e-governance policy as well for your institution. What are those areas where you want e-governance to be introduced, and how do you implement it? How do you upgrade your system with the changing requirements? How do you provide services to your stakeholders through your ERP, etc., etc. Now, whatever software, Dr. Walling is asking for a good vendor. There are several, but the problem with Dr. Walling, the problem with ERP software provider is, if I know a software provider in Nasik or Pune or in Nagpur, the problems with software is you constantly need annual maintenance, upgradation. So At Nagaland, if you want a software engineer from Nasik, it would not be advisable because he would not be able to visit there frequently, Nagaland. So I would advise, in fact, to go for somebody who is from northeastern part of India, and same with other participants also. I know, but then it is not advisable. So screenshots of the user interface. For example, I am giving one screenshot here. So this is the ERP that we are using, and many in Maharashtra are using this, Riddhi. And this is the main dashboard. When you upload it for AQR, take the snapshot, put it on the Word file, get it signed duly by your principal, put the stamp of your institution, and this will be applied to all other Criterion also. This is how you need to upload your documents. And there is a data template like I have shown here. This is the data template. So fill this data template and you're off with this question. 631 is welfare measures for teaching and non-teaching staff. See, one of the very important factor is when your staff is happy, whether teaching or non-teaching staff, when they're happy, they would contribute to the functioning of your institution. If they're not happy, they would, they would be waiting for the clock to strike 12:30 or 5 in the evening and rush off to home. They should feel like staying back in the institution. They should feel that they belong to the institution. And for that, you have to bring in some welfare measures. And what are those welfare measures? Maybe once in a while, you can take them to some excursion, short trip, tour, or from some of the funds that you might have. You can provide them facilities for recreation, playgrounds, some place where they can sit and play carom or read books, etc., with the staff, with the students. You can offer them facilities such as health insurance. All aided teachers do get this health insurance, but how about the temporary teachers? You can offer them facilities such as discount in the tuition fees to the wards of non-teaching employee. You can offer compulsory facilities such as sanitation, safety, etc. You can offer practices or facilities such as credit cooperative society and institution. I always like to mention that the credit cooperative society we have, all of us have been able to, build our house, purchase a car for us because of the staff credit society that we are having. We could, borrow some loan from them of a few lakhs. And yesterday there is a notification of some interest of 10.5. They have reduced the interest also. Of course, as compared to nationalized bank, this is a little higher. But then the loan that we get from nationalized bank sometimes is not good enough for us. So we can, with limited paperwork, we can get the loan from. So these are some of the examples of the welfare facilities or welfare measures your institution can offer for teaching and non-teaching staff. So enumerate them, write some of the details. And when you're writing qualitative answers, ensure along with the theoretical details or descriptive details, you should also be mentioning some statistical details also. That means, for example, an excursion was taken to such and such state and 123 non-teaching employee took part. And for this much of expenditure was taken care of by the institution. Or the amount spent was this much. So when you give statistics, it becomes more reliable. The whole information becomes more reliable. A health insurance worth rupees this much was utilized by the non-teaching employee of the institution or teaching employee of the institution. So put figures whenever, even though it is a descriptive answer. Coming to 6.3.2, yes, Professor Kangude is also adding to it, FDP leaves, incentives, etc. So many things. So the point is your staff should feel like, they belong to the institution, and when they get all the facilities, they would feel like it. Financial support for conferences, workshops, and membership fee, professional bodies, etc. See, your staff is, of course, working for their promotions, their upgradations, their appraisal, but at the same time, whatever they are doing for their appraisal is also contributing to the improvement of the institution as well. And therefore, under such circumstances, can you think of reimbursing the amounts or such as registration fee for conferences and workshops, the membership for getting registered, taking life membership or annual membership of professional bodies? So you should be having a separate budget head for this. This is another kind of welfare that you can have, right? So what is expected here? Do you have a policy document? You need a policy here. Say, for example, some teachers are over enthusiastic, some are enthusiastic, and some are lull. So if I'm over enthusiastic teacher, I would probably attend 10 conferences in a year, and every time I will go and stand up in front of principal asking for 1,000 rupees. So I know one is getting 10,000 rupees in a year, and there are few more who are not attending conference. So they would say that Pingle is making money out of it, right? So you should be having a policy that you can provide a maximum of this amount for maximum number of this conference or for maximum number of this many registration of membership of professional bodies. How much amount are you going to provide to the teachers? Are you going to bear 50% of the registration fee or 100% of the registration fee? That can also be decided. So that policy document is very much needed. You should be giving in writing to all these staff members or teachers about reimbursement of this registration fee or membership fee. So that is e-copy of letter which is required. And if that is happening, that should be reflected in your books of accounts. So audited statement would also be needed. And of course, in the data sheet, you would need the name of the teacher, name of the conference or workshop. If you're not giving the money for a conference or workshop and giving it for professional body membership, then this will be left blank. And what is the amount of support that has been given? So simply put it in the Excel sheet, upload it along with these documents. The question is done. Then 6.3.3, it talks about professional development and administrative training programs for teaching and non-teaching staff. Now, this again is very, very important. If you feel that being a teacher, you know everything, then misconception, you're mistaken. Because as a teacher, we need to learn every day, because students probably are, they are available with more information than us, and they have more curiosity than us. So many students, they know much more than what I know with respect to technology, or for that matter, even my subject area. And therefore, I need training, I need retraining to increase my efficiency. It reflects on my strength and on my interest. I can explore the career and education options. I can develop skills and experiences, and I can connect with people and opportunities, even if I'm doing a Swayam course. So this is an advantage of, having professional development and administrative training programs for your institution. But what training programs do you need to organize for your institution? There is a question from Samundeshwari Madam, whether to increase the number of beneficiaries or the amounts. I think if the benefit goes to more number of people, that would be advisable. But then you have to also find a balance between, the number of beneficiaries and the amount also. See, if registration fee is 1,000 rupees for a certain workshop, and in taking care of number of people, you are just, bringing it down to 100 rupees that you can bear only 10%, that is not advisable. See, the teacher has to bear 90%. Then you are offering only 10%. So you have to find the right balance between what you are offering to the teachers. So I would not say that you should be going for numbers or you should be going for amount, but you should, whatever you are offering, it should be a good amount, so that teachers should also feel like, because they would say, no, only 100 rupees. There's no point claiming those 100 rupees from you. So coming back to this 6.3.3. What would decide the title or the topic of professional development program that you are having, or administrative training program that you are having? For example, when we were having this Zoom meeting with Chang College, and they came up with the idea that, sir, we have remarks from NAC on an AQR that we had submitted for 1920, and we are really finding it difficult. So we feel that we have a need to address this question, and therefore we want to organize this workshop, right? And many more participants, around 150 people, have joined here because they feel that they need to address this problem. They need this training, right? So you need to carry out a need analysis for training. What are your requirements? Take a feedback from your teachers. Take a feedback from your staff. What do they require? And the trainings can be as simple as, drafting an email in your vernacular language. Whatever language, in South, probably in northeastern part of India, in Maharashtra, Marathi. The training can be as simple as using an LMS, learning management system. The training can be as simple as designing an e-content. The training can be as simple as making an effective PowerPoint presentation. This will all lead to professional development. And training can be as advanced as a molecular biology technique or a chemical technique or X-ray crystallography or anything else in physics or in computer science, Python, right? So you have to organize such training programs for teaching as well. We organize from 9 in the morning till 6 in the evening. They're sitting in front of the computer and working tirelessly. So they need to manage that stress. How many participants have taken part in? And then what are the dates on which you have conducted these programs? Coming to 3.4, 634. Apart from the professional training programs that you have organized, there are teachers who are also attending many online and face-to-face faculty development programs at HRDCs or at colleges such as Ramanujan College in Delhi and many other colleges which are organizing these programs. So just have to make a list of the teachers who have been attending these orientation courses, refresher courses, short-term faculty development programs, etc., etc. Mention the duration during which they have attended this course. But remember, very common questions people ask here is whether I have attended a 1 week course will be recognized here. The answer to that question is the orientation course will be of 3 weeks duration. That means 21 days. If you omit Sundays out of it, so 18 working days, 108 contact hours. So 6 hours a day, 6 days a week. Many FDPs which were conducted in past 1 or 2 years, the problem is they call it as a 4-day, just like ours, this 4-day workshop, but it is not actually a 4-day workshop. We are doing only 2 hours in a day. So when you're talking in terms of days, it is 6 hours a day, 6 days a week. Same goes with refresher course as per the AICTE guidelines and UGC guidelines. 2 weeks duration with minimum of 12 working days and 72 contact hours. And as per AICTE guidelines, FDP they call it, they do not call it a refresher orientation. A 2-week program and a 1-week program is what they are having. They also have Atal FDPs also, AICTE people. So you just have to take care that these are as per the guidelines of UGC and AICTE and jot them down in the table. And an annual report of IQAC is required to be uploaded over there. Another qualitative question which comes up is 6.3.5 performance appraisal system for teaching and non-teaching staff. Now, all the aided teachers, that is grantable teachers, they have a performance appraisal system in terms of UGC career advancement scheme. And what that performance appraisal system does, it kinds of provides a feedback on the performance of the employee. It also decides the compensation for the employee. If somebody is doing good, he should be rewarded. It also validates the selection process that if I've employed somebody in my institution, he was, a good, candidate to be employed in my institution. So he should be progressed through certain process. It also identifies the training needs. If somebody is not doing good in certain area, then he needs training. So you need to focus on that also. That comes through performance appraisal system. So for, as I said, for aided teachers, you have a career advancement scheme, performance-based appraisal system under UGC. But how about those temporary teachers who are not under the purview of UGC and their career advancement scheme? So for that, you need to have an in-house performance appraisal system. Clearly define your expectations. What do you want from your staff, including non-teaching staff? Measure and evaluate these expectations. For example, in my institution, we are very fond of having student research projects. We are very fond of measuring the feedback of the teachers from the students. So we evaluate this and provide the feedback to the teachers where we need to improve on something, where they have improved. If there is a positive feedback, give that also. Record the performance. And accordingly, you can continue or discontinue these temporary teachers or temporary non-teaching staff. So you need to have a very, very focused performance appraisal system in your institution. Another way of bringing transparency in your system, especially the financial system, is internal and external financial audits. This is 6.4.1. Here you have to enumerate how many internal and external financial audits have been carried out in case of AQR annually, in case of SSR in the last 5 years. Whether the audits have been carried out by certified chartered accountant. If external audits are there, of course, it has to be through chartered accountant. What are the observations in those audits? And did you bring in any compliance to those objections or the observations in the audits? And what is the mechanism for settling the audit objection? Do you have a finance committee which sits and go through the objections of the audit? And what actions and how do you, settle the audit objections? That has to be written, and it is not a much difficult kind of, any organization would have these audits done and a report would be available in the organization. So for this, you will of course need an annual budget, audits, etc. Coming to 642, where you look for funds and grants, not from the funding agencies like UGCs and universities, etc., but also from non-government organizations, individuals, or philanthropists. That means donors. If your causes are genuine, that we'll discuss further also. If people feel that you are committed to the society, they will come They will come forward and donate amounts to you because you are offering education to the society at large. So how do you put it forward? Name of the agency which is offering you the donation. What is the purpose for the grant? For example, in our college, one of the person has donated rupees 1 lakh for Avishkar Research Convention. He thought that 1 lakh rupees should go to students who are carrying out research to participate in state level research competition. Somebody can donate for the construction of a building. 5 lakh rupees was donated in our college by one of the social member for landscaping. So what is the amount of funds which has been received, when it was received? And again, the importance is, if everything is in white, not black, so I would not utter black and white. If everything is in white, then it has to be reflected in your audited statement. So annual audited statement highlighting where that donation is coming from. Copy of the letter. It is not just about putting it into your account. Give them a letter of appreciation. Also take a letter from that they want to donate such and such amount to the institution. And ensure that it is not donating the funds into or amongst your own trust or sister organization. So if I'm having two colleges, law college and art science commerce college, so law college has donated to science college has donated to arts college. No, you cannot do this. And any contribution in the form of equipment or software will not be counted. So all those donations would be in monetary form only. Whatever you do later from that monetary funds is another thing, right? So the amount has to come, and if the purpose has been mentioned, the purpose of the grant has to be mentioned also. 6.4.3 is very, very, I would say, a tricky question which people may take casually. It is strategies for mobilizing of funds and optimal utilization of resources. Now, for some people, this may appear a very superficial question. For me, this is very, very crucial because you are striving for grants these days. You do not fetch enough grants. UGC has ceased giving you grants. Your university, I do not know how much grants they are giving. RUSA has given grants to some colleges, to some they have not given. So you are at the paucity of funds. And then you have to have strategies to mobilize funds. You have to find avenues from where you can generate funds, whether through consultancies, whether through research projects, whether through some general assistance grants such as been given by UGC, whether from universities, etc. But for you to have funds, you have to first realize what are your strengths and what are your weaknesses, what are your opportunities, what are the challenges, what are your needs, what are the requirements, what are your targets, what are your plans. So this SWOT analysis is very, very important. It's kind of introspection. And when you do your introspection, you become aware of your requirements. And when you are aware of your requirements, you try to explore your connections with the society, different avenues. You let them know about your capabilities. You let them know about their your concerns. What are your concerns? For example, we are so much concerned about the research inculcation in students. And when we, reached to one of the industrialist Shramik group in Sangamner, they said, okay, we are eager to contribute in terms of some amount so that you can, bring in student research scheme. So when people are happy with your cause, they will donate, they will come forward. Same is with funding agencies. So you have to explore funding sources. For the said cause, and when you think that you are not getting enough, funds, people talk about, no, in arts and arts faculty, we do not get enough projects, funds are not available, we only get from UGC. UGC has stopped giving it. I asked them a question: did you ever apply for ICSSR proposal? Did you ever apply commerce people to RBI for funding? Never, right? So UGC has stopped giving it. You have to explore. And we do not get funds many a time because our proposals are very, very weak, very, very poor. So can you make a winning proposal? That is something, that is a kind of training we need to have. So this is a kind of policy that you can have. Professor Walling is asking question: if individual donate amount for sponsoring award in the college, will it come under? Yes, it will come. It will come. You can put that amount that has been donated and take a letter for the cause, and yes, it will be included. Now, talking again about this resource mobilization, you have to have policy for this. And your policy will include all these 6 steps. This is the process through which you can mobilize the resources. So this is a qualitative question. You can just elaborate these 6 points and work on this. Actually, writing in AQR is something else, but work on the ground is something else. So when you work with these 6 steps on the ground in your institution, you're bound to get funds from your institution, whether for your institution, whether from DST, whether from DBT, from CSIR, ICAR, ICSSR, Tata Institute of Social Sciences. There's so many opportunities available to fetch funds. British Council, so many. The only problem is your proposal has to have some method. Going further, we'll talk about internal quality assurance cell and its contribution for institutionalizing the quality assurance strategies and processes. So here you have to give examples of at least 2 practices where you feel that IQAC has contributed to institutionalize the quality assurance. Now, what do you mean by institutionalization? You have introduced quality in some area, right? That started probably from IQAC, that started probably from some department. But this is not institutionalization. If you have introduced quality, that has to be reflected in all the departments, all the sections of the institution. That is called as institutionalization. And for this, whether institutionalization has taken its place or not, you have to ensure that you follow this approach, PDCA. You plan the things, you ensure that the things are going as per the plan. But to check whether the things are going as per the plan, you keep having a check on it, review. And then if anything is going wrong, then rectify it and again, revised plan and go for it. That will ensure quality enhancement. Now, institutionalizing of any such activity where you want to talk about 2 practices can be anything. It can be a feedback system. It can be, as I said, student research in your institution. It can be examination reforms in your institution. It can be documentation. There are so many practices which are going through. It can be performance appraisal. It can be human resource development in terms of the training and retraining. So there's so many things which can be initiated by IQAC and institutionalized. For example, in Kangude's case and in my case also, paperless documentation, we have institutionalized it so much so that we do not receive emails. We only go for Google Drive in my institution. Everything is in the form of electronic component. We usually do not go for paper. So can you enumerate such 2 practices which have been initiated by IQAC? 6.2. One of the important responsibility of IQAC, internal quality assurance cell, is to take reviews of teaching and learning process. I'll give you an example. In my institution, every month, 5th of the month, the head of the department has to submit a teaching learning summary of her or his department. Now, what is it? A teacher has planned its teaching for a whole semester or whole term, that it will take this many of lecture in this month. So whether the teacher has conducted his allotted lectures, what teaching methodologies and learning methodologies has he used, if he or she was on leave, did he or she arrange the extra lecture to make compliance for the lecture that he or she missed? That summary comes to IQAC 5th of every month and is submitted to the council, the administrative council. Another thing is, yesterday only, there's one teacher who is due for associate professor in our physics department. And he came to me, sir, I want this, that as per UGC norms, I want to prove that my teaching performance is satisfactory. So I had that report ready-made with me. I signed that report and gave it to the concerned teacher and is acceptable to all the scrutiny committee for associate professor. So whether your IQAC is reviewing teaching learning processes, all the teaching plans have to be verified by head of the departments. The summary should come to IQAC, verified by IQAC and commented by or remarked by principal and maybe going to governing council or academic council for further action. If some teacher is not doing his duties, then that should be noticed and due action should be taken. Structures and methodologies of operations, learning outcomes and incremental improvement. Operations, as we have discussed, there are so many processes in your institution functioning. All those processes, their frequency, the people responsible for those processes have to be defined, and these processes should be reviewed from time to time. Like in ISO, there has to be a master copy of the manual, should be available with IQAC. That should be approved, and a copy should be with the concerned department also. Learning outcomes, you have discussed in Criterion 2, Professor Nanavare would have talked about it. So IQAC should also be monitoring that the program outcomes, program specific outcome, and the course outcome that you have talked about in Criterion 2, 2.6.1 and 2.6.2, whether the learning outcomes have been attained or not. And before that, whatever outcomes are drafted by the board of studies, whether they are technically correct, that has to be checked as well by the IQAC. Incremental improvement, another thing. Incremental improvement is kind of improvement that you are making. And when you say improvement, that means increase in statistical forms. So maybe your result in 1 year was 70%, then you check whether the results have gone up by 5%, 6%, 76%, 80% or no. If not, then what is the reason? How can you improve upon your results? So when you're tracking your stats, when you're tracking your numbers, you are bound to make policies for improvement. And therefore, IQAC's responsibility is to ensure that there is an incremental improvement. If there were 80% teachers having PhD, you want to ensure that there are 100% teachers with PhD. If there are 50% departments which are having funded research projects, you should be ensuring that next year there are 80% departments which are having funded research projects and so on. So IQAC has to monitor all these things, and that is called as incremental improvement. So incremental improvement can be, you can have several parameters like number of programs you are having, research guides you are having, teaching staff having, faculty PhD having, student strength that you are having. You can have several parameters in your institution and see how you have been improving upon those parameters. And if you are not improving, you have to strategize, and that will go again back to strategic plan, right? So this is how this PDCA cycle goes on, and IQAC should be the central body which should be monitoring it. 6.5.3 is quality assurance initiatives of the institution. They should be including regular meetings of IQAC. IQAC should meet every quarter. Every quarter IQAC should meet, and the minutes of meeting should be recorded. AQR should be submitted within the deadline. 15th May is the new deadline for 2021 AQR. Feedback should be collected, not only collected like in Criterion 1 you have seen, they should be analyzed, and action taken report should be uploaded on the website. And like Chang College is doing, they have taken this initiative in collaboration with IQAC cluster. You can take many such quality initiatives in collaboration with some agencies. You should be participating in National Institutional Ranking Framework, NIRF. This year we have worked hard, and I'm sure we will be in the band of 200 colleges of nation. So participation in NIRF is something which is important. And if you can go for certifications such as ISO or NBA, that would also be advisable. So in the time allotted for me, some 45 minutes or so, I have tried to cover up all the 5 key indicators with reasonable explanation. But even now the session is open for question and answer.
Okay, thank you, sir, for the very clear and detailed elaboration of Criterion 6. We have all benefited immensely. Sir has responded to most of the queries during the discussion itself. So I will not repeat those unless the panel of experts have some additions to make. So, but now we have received a couple more. So let us take those queries one by one. So the first query is by Sir Walling again. His question is, if AQAR is not submitted at the due date, then what is the outcome?
Yeah, if your AQR is not submitted, then there will be a remark on your portal. On NAC portal, there would be a remark that AQR has not been submitted. Before you go for your SSR submission, you will have to submit the AQR with late submission remark would be there. But I guess there is still some time left for you to submit your AQR. You should be submitting your AQRs.
Okay, thank you, sir. There's another question by Dr. Vilas. How internal audit will How this internal audit can be done in the institution. Dr. Vilas, if you are having somebody who has reasonable knowledge of commerce or books of accounts, then you can have those people. See, the difference between internal audit and external audit is that internal auditor is not a certified chartered accountant. He need not be a chartered accountant. So if there is somebody in your commerce department who is reasonably aware of the books of accounts and auditing things,
then you can take help of these people to go for internal audit, whether the annual budget is there, whether income expenditure statement is there, where the TDS which was required has been deducted, etc., etc. Right? You can have a CA, chartered accountant, if you are having in commerce department. If not chartered accountant, CMA, or any person from commerce background that will be good enough to carry out an internal audit.
Okay, thank you, sir. There's another question by Mr. Reju Bapungan. The question is, what strategy should be adopted for the non-cooperative colleagues?
Yeah, this is difficult, and I guess Professor Piyush Pahade sir might have elaborated in his presentation on IQAC. And I remember I had seen the screenshot of his presentation. He always says that an IQAC coordinator should have a cool head and a sweet tongue. So that is what is required. It does not guarantee 100% people coming along with you, but maximum people will definitely come with you. So I have been heading the IQAC of my institution for 11 years. I have some gray hair, but then I have not gone bald. So things do work.
Okay. So again, we have another question. This is from Dr. R. Samundes. Sir, is there any benchmark for number of FTP to be conducted?
No, not really. I mean, this is a question which I have asked to NEC personnel so many times, that what are the benchmarks that you said? If I organize 50 FDPs and somebody is organizing 10 FDPs. But see, in a college, in a higher education system, apart from organizing all these activities, you have a primary responsibility of teaching and learning also. So if you're organizing 50 FDPs, your teaching would be getting hampered, right? So it is so very obvious that you are doing teaching and learning, and with that you are taking FDPs and other things, right? So I think I usually plan at least 2 to 4 FDPs in my organization per year. 2 to 4 per year is a big number. In one term I take 2, and in second term I take 2. So 4 is a good number, a balanced number.
Okay, thank you. There is a question from Dr. Mrs. Crystal. Is AQAR graded? And Professor Gauri Devastale has already replied to that it is not graded. Sir, would you like to add?
Yeah, I would like to add, it is indirectly graded. It is graded for your improvement. Say, for example, in 2019-20 AQR, in fact, 18-19 AQR of my college, they had written a big note on what I could improve in the AQR so that I can improve in 2021. So it is not graded in that sense, that they are not grading it in terms of CGPA or A plus grade. They are reviewing it so that you can improve upon it in the next year.
Okay, thank you. Another question is from Mrs. Martha T. Can the best practice of IQAC in 6.5.1 and the one given in Criterion 7.2 be same?
Yeah, it can be. See, the best practice of IQAC, I think Professor Gauri Madam will go in much more details. I will only make a comment over here. When you're talking about best practice, it has 4 important things. One is identification, second is implementation, third is institutionalization, and fourth is internalization. If you are, if you are claiming a practice as a best practice, you have to ensure that the practice is taking in the whole institution, institutionalization, and internalization, it should become habit. So if your practice is, institutionalized and internalized, you can say that is a best practice. So yes, you can claim it at both the places.
Okay, I think this is the last one. This is from Dr. R. Priya. I think it's more like a statement. If we go for paperless, then digital authentication is accepted.
Yeah, I mean, there is a misconception again here. Digital authentication is actually not the soft copy signature. If you all know, digital authentication is through, Acrobat, and you have to register for it. So that is something else. You are only putting up the soft copy signature on a paper and scanning it. So that can be approved.
All right. I think this is the last question. This is the last question that we will take up. This is from Vaishnavi, Miss Vaishnavi. Is it possible to share format for learning outcome followed in your college?
It's a big exercise, Vaishnavi Madam. I'm sure you would have gone through the presentation of Professor Nanaure. I mean, my learning outcomes will not do any good to you. You have to have your own learning outcomes, and I do not know what courses you offer, what programs you offer. So it's a big exercise. And my phone number was shared. You can talk to Professor Nanaure, you can talk to me also. We can discuss over it, and we are eager to help you.
Okay, thank you so much, sir.
Thank you.
It's already 6 p.m., so I think we will proceed for the next technical session. If there's any other question, maybe we'll take up in the, if time permits during the Q&A. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you so much. It was a pleasure.
Let us now move on to the second technical session, which is on Criterion 7. The resource person for this session is Mrs. Gauri Devasthale, Assistant Professor, Department of Microbiology and IQAC Coordinator, Abeda Inamdar College, Pune. Mrs. Devasthale is an associate member of the IQAC cluster. She has completed 2 minor projects and 2 PG research projects. She has published several research papers and has made several paper presentations. Ma'am has also rendered her valuable service as resource person and external expert for various programs and has also been awarded Best Teacher. Mrs. Devasthale, you may kindly proceed.
Thank you for this kind introduction. Can I present my screen?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So is my screen visible?
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
Am I audible?
Yes,
ma'am.
yes. Please go ahead.
So let us go to criteria 7, preparation of AQAR for criteria 7. This is the last criteria that we are going to talk about. We have already heard about criteria 1 to 6. Now coming to criteria 7, and maybe if required, I can speak a little about part A, because your AQAR most important thing is you have to remember that in criteria 7, when we are talking about SSR, there is nothing that you can opt out from criteria 7. And therefore, it is very important that you prepare for criteria 7 very well throughout your 5 years of accreditation, so that period, so that when your SSR is to be submitted, your criteria 7 should be very, very strong, and you don't have to, you don't have problem in answering any question. Now, criteria 1 to 6, they are, very specific. Like criteria 1 is on curriculum, criteria 2 is on teaching learning, 3 is on research and extension, 4 is infrastructure, 5 is student centric, and 6 is governance, and 7 is a little, a mixture of a little part of each type, you can say, or many activities which are not put in 1 to 6 have been put in 1 to 7. So you can see here what are the focus areas for criteria 7, and you can see there is quite a lot of variety here. So the first is about the environmental consciousness and sustainability. Then we have inclusion and situatedness. We have gender equity, facilities for differently abled students, green practices, and human values and professionals, best practices, and institutional distinctiveness. So they're all you're going to prepare the AQAR. If we see one by one question wise, then coming to criteria.
Yeah.
Yes.
Gauri ma'am, I'm just interrupting. Please have some light on your face.
Okay, let me change.
Room. Is there a light in the room?
Yes, yes, there is, sir. Yes. Okay, let me change the position. Let me see what I can do. Now?
Yes, have some. Yeah, yeah. Now.
Okay, okay, sir. No problem. So question number 1 is measures initiated by the institution to for the gender equity related in activities that are taken up. Now here what we can do is these activities can be divided into 3 types. One is a curricular, co-curricular, and extracurricular. Now the curricular regarding the gender equity or gender sensitization, especially in the courses of the arts faculty like social studies or sociology, or even in psychology, or even in political science or such type of courses. Then the other courses where such inclusion is not there, we can have a co-curricular activities, and we can also have extracurricular activities. Now, what NAC expects in the AQR, first thing is we should have annual gender sensitization plan, just like we have the annual academic calendar is prepared and uploaded on the website. Similarly, annual gender sensitization plan also has to be prepared at the beginning of the year itself, and that also has to be uploaded on website, because in AQR we have to give the web link of this plan. Okay, so we should have a plan of activities, whether our activities are curricular, co-curricular, extracurricular, and when they are going to take place, for which class, what is the type of activity. So this action plan has to be ready. Then we should also know that what are the facilities provided in the institution for the women, especially for safety, security, counseling, common rooms, daycare center for young children, and any other relevant information. So this A to E options are given by NAC when you are going to upload your AQR. We have to tick either 4 options, 5 options, or all of the above, and provide information about the same. Now, whatever options you are going to take in this answer, you have to upload the photos, geotagged photos, the documents for all these facilities. Okay. So here you can have what the programs as follows: the awareness programs for women empowerment, gender audits, awareness programs for boys regarding the behavior towards girl, or vice versa. Now, always we are talking about girls, but it is not like that. Sometimes girls also have to be, created awareness about how they should behave with the opposite gender. Then programs to enlighten girls and boys regarding their environment in workspace, programs for inspiring women or girl students to take up challenging careers, awareness on sexual harassment, anti-ragging, understanding about human society from feminist perspective, gender sensitization workshop. Now here we can have extracurricular activities like debate, we can have street plays, role plays, or we can have some other 1-minute talk, or some such activities or presentations related to any of the above topics, and this will be included in the extracurricular activities related to gender sensitization. Then from 7.1.2 to 7.1.11, most of our questions are focused on environmental consciousness and sustainability. One more point here, I want you to make a note that in other criteria, we have matrices or questions for which, one question has 15 marks or 20 marks. Now I'm talking about SSR, because AQR is not graded, but SSR is graded. Whereas when we come to criteria 7, there are several questions. Many questions are there, and each question has individual question will have only 4 marks or 5 marks. No question has more than 10 marks in this criteria, except best practices and distinctiveness. So what happens, it is a general tendency that when we go through the SSR or the questionnaire or the framework, we try to focus on those questions or those matrices which have more amount of marks, like placement has 20 marks, progression has 15 marks, teaching learning has 30 marks. So we try to focus on that, and because these questions are small and they have less number of marks individually, sometimes it is a tendency, general tendency to neglect it. But let me tell you this, that in criteria 7, if you answer every question point wise, you can get a full score, full marks, because there are many questions of less weightage, but each question you are going to get minimum 2 to 3 marks out of the 4 marks, and therefore you can score lot of marks in criteria 7. Now, if you see from 7.1.2 onwards, we are focusing on several environment related issues, like natural energy sources or alternative energy sources, proper waste categorization, biomedical waste disposal, solar energy, reuse, recycle, no to plastic, rainwater harvesting or water management, as you can see here, pollution control, e-waste management, then composting, fertilizer production, and so on. So there are around 8 to 10 questions, and each question is related to one aspect of the environmental consciousness, what we are having in the institute. So what this question is, just can I hide this? Let me see. Sir, can I hide this bar?
Click right on the right click of this bar. There are 3 dots. Click on that. You will get a panel, and in that panel there is hide panel.
So the yes, sir, it has gone now.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes. Yes, sir. Yes, I could do it. Yes.
Yeah, please.
So the institution has alternate sources. Yes, sir. I think now my entire screen is.
Yes, ma'am. It's very clearly seen. Very clearly.
Go ahead, Gauri madam. Go ahead.
Yes, please. It is clearly seen, ma'am.
Measures. So what are the alternative energy sources? Solar energy, biogas plant, wheeling to the grid, sensor-based energy conservation, and use of LED bulbs or power efficient equipment. Again, all these options are given by NAC on the portal. We have to take or choose the number of options that are available in our institute. So solar energy can be by installation of solar panels. Biogas plant, as I have already shown, that all the organic waste can be collected and the biogas can be produced. Wheeling to grid is that we generate energy from solar panels, and this energy is connected to our MSCB or electricity meters, and when the light is not there, we use this stored energy that is known as wheeling to grid, or rather we are providing energy to the electricity board, that is known as wheeling to grid. Sensor-based energy conservation, there are special bulbs, and when there is motion, automatically these bulbs will get on and off, and use of LED bulbs or power efficient equipment, as we know that these will have less power consumption and electricity can be used. Facilities are available on the plant. You should have photographs or any other relevant
Any issues? They're not able to see or hear the presentation. White code? Gangude sir?
Yes, there is some issue at her end.
I think
There
it's
is some issue
at white code or Gauri madam's
Gauri ma'am's
end.
at the Gauri ma'am's place there is an issue. sometimes that bandwidth goes very low.
Yes, sir. Now is it okay?
Yeah, it's
Yes,
better,
yes, yes,
madam.
ma'am.
Go ahead, Rush. Make it full screen, madam.
Yes, yes. So we are expected to write about how we are managing waste on the campus. We have to write the description. Then we have to give relevant documents like agreements or MOUs with the government or other approved agencies. Now here, when we are handling e-waste or biomedical waste, it is not possible to manage this at the campus level. We have to have some, local authorities, like for example, the biomedical waste related to the hospital or laboratory waste. Like for example, if there is a laboratory like pathology laboratory or microbiology laboratory on the campus, then the biomedical waste which is generated, we have to have proper authorities coming and collecting the waste. So for that, we have to write the letters to the authorities, to the municipal corporations or the cantonment boards, and we have to have these letters with us from the approved agencies who are going to collect the medical waste, e-waste, etc. Even hazardous chemicals and radioactive waste management, where there are some agencies which will come and collect this and do, they dispose it in a proper way. So some such agreements or MOUs are there. Those have to be uploaded, and geotagged photographs of the facilities also have to be uploaded. Then coming to 7.1.4 is related to water. So water conservation facilities available in the institution. So is there any rainwater harvesting plant? Is there bore well or open well recharge? So whatever water is collected, it goes to the well, and this will recharge the well, just like, we recharge our laptop or telephones. Then construction of tanks and bunds. Suppose the institution is located in a hilly area or in an area where there is a lot of, water is flowing through the soil and causing erosion, can we have tanks and bunds? Then is there recycling of wastewater? Some of the water can be, which is used just for cleaning, can be used for gardening by recycling or by, minor treatment. Is there maintenance of water bodies and distribution system on the campus? So again, all these options are given by NAC. And whatever options are available on the campus, we are expected to take those options, geotag photograph of each and every facility, and upload that. If there is any rainwater harvesting plant, then at the time of when water is being collected, again, the video can be taken and uploaded, or any other relevant information regarding any of these facilities. Now, maintenance of water bodies. So the college will have a overhead tank or sometimes underground tank where water is stored. If there are hostels or there is mess facility or canteen, again, there will be water tanks or water bodies. The regular cleaning of these water bodies is very important. And if there is a annual maintenance contract, or if there is any MOU with regarding this cleaning and maintenance, then that also can be uploaded here in 7.1.4. Then coming to 7.1.5, green campus initiatives. So what are the green campus initiatives that can be taken by the institute? So pollution control, reduction of carbon footprint, which are stated as eco-friendly, they should be listed here. Like some of them can be reduction in use of paper, especially in administrative procedures. So e-communication, e-notifications, e-documentation are very important. Already, I think in criteria 4, Dr. Kanbude sir must have spoken about the e-use or digital documentation and all these things. Then plastic-free campus. So plastic bags, plastic bottles, especially the mineral water bottles. We see heaps of bottles being collected daily on the campus, so that should be avoided. Reduced use of chemicals, and we can use organic fertilizers or compost for the gardening. Rainwater harvesting can be also very good initiative, and natural ventilation for the buildings to reduce the use of air conditioners or artificial light. Also, this will help in saving the energy that we consume, and all these can be good green initiatives on the campus. Then use of solar energy for heating water and campus outdoor lighting. So if we have solar panels, they trap the light, they trap the solar energy throughout the day. And when it is dark, automatically the lights around the campus or on the building, they will start glowing. This is because of the solar energy. Then use of biodegradable or disposable plates, spoons, etc. in the institutional eateries. So like pantries we have in the office, or we have canteens, or we have mess, and many times we are using the thermocol glasses, thermocol plates, which is not getting degraded easily, or the plastic plates like that. So we should use a biodegradable plates and spoons, or then better we use a proper glass or stainless steel plates and spoons, which can be reused because they will not contribute to more waste. Then the vegetable waste or other organic waste can be processed for composting. This will also reduce the municipal garbage, and it will also have good biofertilizer for the garden. So whatever are our green initiatives, the photograph should be uploaded on the website. The geotagged photograph should be there. Videos of the facilities, policy documents. If the college has prepared an environmental policy, then any decisions are taken. These decisions, notices, circulars, which have been circulated for implementation, all these should be kept ready for the uploading, and any other relevant documents that the college or the higher institute wants to share with NAC. Now here you can see some of the green initiatives that have been taken. So there are walkways and lawns, and lot of trees are planted. You can see even the walls are covered with the, what you can say, greenery or plants. Okay, and this will reduce the heat, and the area or the building will remain cool. Here you can see that there is eco restoration for the birds. So in cities now, especially I am from Pune. So from Pune is now a big metro city. So Pune, Mumbai, Chennai, Calcutta, all these, lot of pollution, lot of, urbanization. And therefore the natural birds or the natural species of birds and others, they are now diminishing or reducing in number. So here what we have done is we have prepared the nests and wooden nests, and we have implanted them on high trees, large trees, and here we are keeping food grains and water, so that birds will come back, and it will restore the ecology for the birds. Here you can see that this is a no vehicle zone. So there is bus here, and beyond this there is no vehicle is there, only you can walk from here. So again, this reduces the pollution and the carbon footprints on the campus. So these are some of the green initiatives which the institute can take. Then the next is quality audits on environment and energy are regularly undertaken by the institution. So which are the quality audits which the college can take? One is the green audit, energy audit, environmental audit. Then there can also be clean and green campus recognition awards, which the institute gets maybe from the local authorities, or maybe from the non-government organizations, or maybe from the government organizations for the cleanliness and the green campus awards. And what are the beyond campus environmental promotional activities? Now every college or every individual, they are keeping their own environment clean and green. But what are you doing beyond your own campus to spread or to create awareness about the environment? So these 5 points are going to be considered in 7.1.6. So green audit, energy audit, environmental audit, they are very much linked. In energy audit, essentially it is only about the electricity energy that is used. But if you will combine the green and energy audit, then it is like a environmental audit where they consider many aspects of the green audit. Here, Clean Green Campus Awards, the local authorities, they are announcing such type of awards, Swachhata Bharat Abhiyan and the Clean College Awards, etc. So you can upload here whatever information you have. For this, you will need the reports on environment and energy audit submitted by recognized auditing agency, certification by the auditing agency. If there are any awards, then certificates or awards which are received, and any other relevant information. Then coming to 7.1.7, whether the institution has disabled friendly barrier-free environment. So whether there are ramps and lifts or easy access to classrooms, then disabled friendly washrooms where wheelchairs can be taken into, signages, tactile paths, lights, display boards, then signposts, technology, assistive technology, which facilitates the persons with disabilities, then accessible websites, screen reading software, mechanized equipment, all these can be taken for the differently able students, okay? Then is there any provision for inquiry and information like human assistants, readers, scribes for examination, soft copies of reading material, or audio cassettes for the visually impaired, or braille software where they can read the books or thing in the braille, that is their own language. So the file description here is geotagged photographs of whatever facilities are available. You can also have very small videos. You don't make very big videos because all these have to be uploaded on website. And if we have the large videos, then the website will crash, becomes very slow. So geotagged photographs may be just a very 1 or 2 small videos. Then policy documents. What is your policy for the differently able students? What is the admission policy for them? What is the examination policy for them? Is there any helpline for them? All such documents should be uploaded on website, in the college brochure. All these things should be mentioned. Then details of software, if any are purchased for the differently able students, that also has to be uploaded, and any other relevant information that you feel like uploading. So here you can see that this is a geotagged photograph of the ramp. Then there is a walker, there is a wheelchair. Here there is a washroom for the differently able students. Here the student is unable to write, so we have provided writer or scribes for the examination. This is the software for the visually impaired students. Then we have the helpline number for the differently abled or the Divyangan students, name of the contact person, or counseling such students. So all these facilities are there, and such type of photographs, they can be uploaded on the website, or and the link can be provided, or they can be also uploaded as extra information during the uploading of AQAR. Okay. Then there is a such type of table which you will have to upload, that what are the physical facilities, provision for lift, ramp, rails, whether the facility is available or no. And if it is available, then what are the number of beneficiaries? So NAC is trying to check that, do you really admit the differently able students or the Divyangan students? If yes, what is their number? Are they benefiting from the facilities that you have? And therefore, this number of beneficiaries is going to be very important. It is going to reflect the, give an image of the institute and how the students are treated or taken care of. Then coming to 7.1.8, to describe the institutional efforts or initiatives in providing inclusive environment, like tolerance and harmony towards cultural, regional, linguistic, communal, and other socio-economic diversity. So when you are going to write your student profile in criteria 2, actually we write in criteria 2 student profile, that is number of students from same state, number of students from other states, number of students from other countries, number of economically backward students, then we have OBC students, SC, ST. So this actually your student profile is going to define that whether your institute is inclusive or not. Okay. So if you have your student profile is diverse to a large extent, it simply says that the institution has taken lot of efforts to accommodate all type of students. Like for example, in our campus, we have many students coming from Northeast, especially for the MA Political Science, MA Sociology courses. We have every year, we have at least 10 to 15 students who are coming from the Northeast out of the 60 seats. That is, 1/4 of our students. We have Afghani students, we have Irani students, we have students from other countries. So this itself shows that in our college, there is safe, secure environment. These students promote their juniors to come here. They encourage them. They will tell them that this college is very good. There is good facility. You take admission here. So this, diversity of the student profile itself indicates that institution has good efforts or initiatives to provide inclusive environment. So what your college is doing for accommodating all these or such type of students, that we have to describe in 200 words. And it is not only for students, but are there any teachers from other state? So what type of programs you conduct, what type of festivals you celebrate, do you celebrate any variety of days to accommodate the other state staff and students? That is very important. So programs to promote harmony, safe, secure environment for students, especially girls, if they're coming from other state, other countries, unbiased approach in appointments, nominations. So suppose my college is in Maharashtra, in Pune. If I want to appoint, I want to nominate a student for an award, it's not that I will nominate only a Maharashtrian student or a student from Pune. There is no such bias. I will check the records, and the best suitable student will be nominated, whether that student is from Maharashtra, or whether from Gujarat, or whether from South India or from North India. So unbiased approach in appointments, in nominations, that should be reflected. And of course, secularism, celebrating all types of festivals, national festivals, religious festivals in the campus or on the campus. This will lead to take care of all types of students or stakeholders that visit the campus. So here we should have supporting documents on the information that is provided, academic activities of the institution, administrative policies of the institution, admission policies, hostel facilities for other state, other country students. All these should be provided here, and they have to be uploaded as extra information. Other than 200 words, we have to provide all the documents. Then 7.1.9, sensitization of students and employees to the institution and constitutional obligations, values, rights, duties, responsibilities of citizens, so professional ethics, welfare activities, all these, then human values. Are we inculcating all this among the students? And if yes, how? So here we are celebrating the different days, we're observing different days, we are trying to show the respect to the different historical patrons. So all these are going to inculcate values. Of course, we celebrate Independence Day and Republic Day, that is compulsory. But apart from that, what other days or programs we are observing, we are celebrating, that will sensitize our students and employees for the constitutional values. So like 25th January is National Voters Day, then Human Rights Day, Women's Day. All these are going to inculcate values among the cities, among our students, to make them responsible citizens. So the activities, details of these activities, the reports, the photographs, they have to be kept ready for uploading for 7.1.9. And coming to 7.1.10, does the institution have a prescribed code of conduct for students, teachers, administrators, and other staff members? And if yes, then it has to be displayed on the website. So we do have a set of rules and regulations for all our stakeholders, whether they are students, whether they are teaching staff, whether they are support staff, whether they are administrative staff. There is a set of rules. There is a specific time that they should come in. There is a specific time that they should be on campus. Some of the colleges have prescribed dress codes, uniforms. Then some of the colleges will have prescribed policies and procedures. So all this will be included in the code of conduct. The code of conduct has to be displayed on the website, and the web link has to be provided in 7.1.0. Now, there is no point in just having a code of conduct for the students or for the teachers. There has to be someone who is going to monitor that whether this code of conduct is followed or not. So is there a committee to monitor the adherence to code of conduct? If yes, who is in charge of this committee? What does the committee do to check this adherence to code of conduct? If there is any deviation by any staff or student, what is the punishment or what are the steps taken by this committee, how the committee handles the indisciplined behavior, what are the awareness programs that are conducted or organized by the committee to bring awareness about the code of conduct. All these points have to be included in 7.1.10. So you should have a code of ethics policy document, then details of the monitoring committee, its composition and minutes of the committee, then the number of programs, awareness induction programs organized for staff, students. If there are any programs that are carried out for this type of activities, then the reports of the programs in support of the claim and any other relevant information that the institute feels it wants to upload on the NAC portal, it can upload through the AQR as additional or relevant information. So this is about the code of conduct. Code of conduct is required for teachers as well as students and other staff visiting the campus. So code of conduct for all stakeholders must be specified. The areas to be highlighted in the code of conduct should include the hierarchy, the powers, the functional roles of each stakeholder, the responsibilities, the duties, the constitution of mandatory committees, their mode of functioning, what are the disciplinary actions that will be taken. If there is ragging, what will be the action? If there is indisciplinary behavior, what will be the action taken? What are the methods for grievance redressal? Okay, and this can be prepared in accordance with the Universities Act. Now, as I'm in Maharashtra, I have given reference of the Maharashtra Universities Act, but there is a Universities Act and the code of conduct is given by UGC. With reference to this, the affiliating colleges and universities can also prepare their own code of conduct, which should be prominently displayed on the institutional website. Okay, it should be also included in students' handbooks or in the college brochure, or the, you know, what you can say, the forms which are being given to the students, so that students are aware of such committees and the action that is going to be taken on them. Then 7.1.11, whether the institution celebrates, organizes national and international commemorative days, events and festivals. So the college also observes birth, death anniversaries of great Indian personalities, freedom fighters, national heroes, celebration of important days, like I told you, Constitution Day, Human Rights Day, so National Voters Day, all these things. The college celebrates Independence Day, Republic Day, obviously with great enthusiasm. The effort is a step towards indoctrinating patriotism and nationalism in young students. So what does the college do for this? And the holistic approach for creating responsible citizens. So all these points have to be included in the answer. The annual report of the celebrations and the events for the last academic year has to be given in AQAR. Geotagged photographs of the event should also be uploaded, and any other relevant information that the college wants to give. Then coming to 7.2.1. So from 7.1.1 to 7.1.11, as I told you, that there are many small questions with 4 marks, 5 marks weightage that is allotted to them. And they include a diversity of questions. It is not only related to environment, it includes environment, it includes green practices, it includes social values, it includes professional ethics, it includes gender sensitization, and then it includes the social responsibilities towards differently able students, Divyanjan students, then ethics, code of conduct, everything. It is a mixture of, you know, a variety of aspects that NAC is going to check in criteria 7. So this is with 7.1. Now, when we come to 7.2, there is a main question, that is the best practices successfully implemented by the institution as per NAC format. So the best practice may be defined as that practice which is exemplary or unique, which can serve as a benchmark for others, and which has helped the institution to achieve its objectives or goals or mission, you can say, in a better or with increased efficiency. So how you are going to define your best practice? It should be in accordance with your vision, mission, goals, objectives. It should be unique, and it should have, you know, given enough benefit to the institute and its students or stakeholders. Now, through the implementation of best practices, the institution will enhance its quality. Okay, that is a best practice through which you can have quality initiatives or enhancement. Best practices can be implemented across all areas of institutional operations. So it can be, the best practice can be academic or co-academic, that is related to research, extension. It can be related to administration processes. It can be related to outreach programs. It can be related to linkages, MOU, networking with other institutions. It can be related to any one criteria or more than one criteria can be covered in the best practice. So for the guidance about best practices, the institution can refer to NAC website. There is a booklet available on the NAC website for best practices in different areas as mentioned earlier. Now here we should have the best practice ready in the format which is given by NAC, okay, and the information relevant to the best practice. So the format for best practices is as follows. So title of the practice, objectives of the practice, the context, the practice itself, and you can see here that the number of words that are given to write the answer are defined for every point or aspect of the answer. So evidence of success, problems encountered and resources required, and optional is if you want to give any notes. Now, why these notes are important? Because in the beginning we have said that the best practice should be exemplary, unique, and it should be like, you know, the other colleges should want to follow it. It should be an example setting. So if any other college or institute wants to follow your best practice, then the notes will help them to take up the best practice. So it is optional, but you can have any notes relevant to the best practice in about 150 words. So you have to have the best practice on website, and you have to give web link to the best practice in the AQAR. So here are some of the best practices I have listed, that is ICT in teaching or academics and administration, digital administration, paperless offices, green campus initiatives, e-waste management, recycling of waste and paper, plastic, disposal of proper disposal of bio-waste or biohazardous waste from the science departments, then additional or extra coaching for career potentials for advanced learners, coaching for competitive examinations, reforms in examinations, women empowerment programs, social awareness, or like I told you, extension activities, then entrepreneurship, outreach programs, audits, various audits, all these can be examples of the best practices. So these are just a few examples, but let me tell you that many examples are available on the NAC website. Also, if you visit website of different colleges or institutes who have just been graded with A grade or A+ grade, every institute has to have the best practice on the website. So if you go to website, you will get many more examples of the best practices. Okay. Then coming to 7.3, that is portray the performance of institution in any one area distinctive to its priority and trust within 200 words. So here what we have to portray, what is portray? It's like painting. You have to create a picture of the performance of the institution, that when the NAC will read this answer, or when anyone will read this answer, they should be able to visualize what your institution is doing or how your institution is. So it's just to portray or create a picture of your institute in which area distinctive to its priority and trust. So again, here your distinctiveness should be in accordance with your goals, objectives, vision, mission. Okay. The answer should include details of the performance of the institution in any one area distinctive to its vision, priority, and trust. The institution should identify and define its distinctiveness clearly and analyze its outcome. So here we have to just not write about the distinctiveness, but because of this practice or procedure, what the institute has achieved, the outcome because of this, that also has to be clearly visible, monitored. The evidence of outcome should be clearly visible. So suppose for example, if the institutional distinctiveness of my institute is research, okay, just for example, I'm telling you, then how many research projects are there? How many research papers are there? What is the new research product? Is there any patent that has come up from this research? So all these points should be evident, or it should be clearly visible from the description of the distinctiveness. The documents indicating the performance and the distinctiveness should be posted again on the website. It is compulsory to have the institutional distinctiveness on the website. It should be there in the prospectus, and web link of the same should be provided in the AQAR. So this is about the 7.3.1. So what should be your institutional distinctiveness like? It can be associated to one or more criteria from NAC. It may be linked with the best practices, because when the best practice will go on for many years, then it will become the distinctiveness of your institution. The outcome of continuous efforts in a particular area or thrust area should be visible. So what can be the distinctiveness of your institute? The vocational training leading to placement, that in this college or in this institute, the training is given to students such that most of the students get the jobs or the placement. So that is the unique property of your college or institute. Then women empowerment, especially many times there are the girls colleges, okay, or college only for girls or only for women. So in such colleges, the women empowerment can be the distinctiveness or the specialization area where the college is focusing. Then green practices, then special recognitions for the college, life training programs, having Center for Human Excellence can be a distinctiveness. Then provision of budget for student scholarships. If some of the colleges are because very few colleges will do that, not all. Then if a college is running skill enhancing certificate courses in large number, that can be a distinctive feature. If there is a lot of technology aid in teaching learning, that can be a distinctive feature. Some colleges have very good connect with industry. So industry connect can also be a distinctive feature. Smart campus, smart boards, smart TVs, all this can also be a distinctive feature of the institute, that is inculcating technology in the day-to-day life. So these are again some of the examples. Okay, just a few I have listed, 8 to 10, but you can identify the institutional distinctiveness of your own college and write about it in the answer. And the last point is 7.2.2. What is the plan of action for next year? So here we have to remember that in AQAR, we have to give the minimum 5 to 7 points about plan of action in next year. This plan of action should be concrete, and the goals that you are setting for the next year should be achievable. We have to remember that in next AQAR, you have to give compliance of this plan. So when we are setting the goals, it should be such that it can be achieved in that one academic year. Otherwise, what happens? We write a very, big plan for the next year and we are unable to achieve it. Then in the next year, when we have to write compliance, we will sit and worry. So that should not happen. The plan should be, go criteria wise. Suppose you want to implement new courses. So it is related to criteria 1. In criteria 2, you want to do reforms in the examination system. In criteria 3, you want to promote research, or you want to organize conference, national, international conference. In criteria 4, you want to create some infrastructure. Say in criteria 5, you want to give vocational training to students. In criteria 6, you want to make some changes in the administration. Criteria 7, you want to do some green initiatives, some value inculcating programs. So think about that. Not necessary that you should have plan of action for all the criteria. We should sit and think that where we are falling short, where we can have more programs, or how we can enhance about any one criteria, 2 criteria. So make a list criteria wise, but we have to see to it that our plan of action has to be student centric. Okay, of course we can have some planning for staff, infrastructure, management, no doubt, administration, but if you are making giving a 7 points, 8 points for the plan of action for next year, minimum 5 bullets are expected. Out of that, 4 to 6 should be the student-centric plan. What you're going to do to improve the quality of the student, that is very, very important. So with this, we finish with the criteria 7. And these are the only 3 matrices, 7.1, 7.2, and 7.3. So any questions or anything we can discuss?
Thank you so much, ma'am, for the very clear explanation of Criterion 7. We may now
Yes.
take up some questions.
Yes.
So this is a question from Jennifer, Miss Jennifer Villiers. She writes, our last AQAR was 2018 to 19. Should we prepare for 2019 to 20 and 20 to 21?
Yes, you have to. You have to prepare.
Okay. The other question is from Mr. Deepak Nath. In relation to 7.1.10, what could be the ideal composition of the committee to monitor adherence to the code of conduct of institution?
Yes, of course, there should be principal or director will be chairperson. Then we can have two senior teachers, staff members, in the, discipline wise. Now, for example, in our college, we have the arts, science and commerce faculty. So we have taken one teacher from each faculty and one more teacher to help or assist them. So ideally, it should be the senior staff members and along with the principal or the director of the institute.
Okay, thank you, ma'am.
Ideally, those teachers should be adhering to code of conduct. Then they can monitor others. Otherwise, how they will monitor others?
Right, true. True, ma'am. Okay,
Yes.
there's this other question from Professor G. Shobhar. Is it acceptable if I follow one practice this year, and can it be mentioned as best practice in next AQAR?
Ideally, we are expected to follow once you identify a best practice and institutionalize it, it should be followed for many, many years, coming years. Okay. It's not that if you do once and stop, then it is not practice. Okay. It is only event. So you can do it. You identify now, you mention in next year AQR, but you have to follow also next year. I hope I'm clear.
You are right, Dr. Gauri. Yeah.
Because you cannot have best practice this year, then next year you didn't do, then again third year you did, then that is not a practice, right? Suppose I have practice of getting up early, then I'm getting up early for 10 years, 15 years, then that is a practice. If I'm getting up early on one day and then again I'm becoming lazy, it is not practice, right? So you have to have best practice. Whatever you identify, you have to follow for all coming years, as long as possible.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. Here's another question. This is from Ms. Naro Imchen. The question is, can an institute's institutional distinctiveness change from year to year? I think this is the same.
No.
And
no, it cannot change. At least it should, because if you want to see visible outcome, you should have that at least for 5-6 years, 4-5 years, at least in one accreditation cycle. In 1 year, you will not get visible outcome of your distinctiveness, right? Suppose my institutional distinctiveness is we have very, very good sports facility and we have appointed the 20 training staff to train our students, coaches, sports coach. In 1 year, I'm not going to get any international players or visible outcome, right? When I will do coaching for 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, then only I will get national players, international players. So in 1 year, I will not get any visible outcome. We have to practice for 5-6 years, then only we can get the visible outcome from that. So every year we cannot change. You identify one distinctiveness and work on the betterment or improving that slowly for a period of 5 to 7 years. Then you will get very good results. And then that will become your distinctiveness.
Yeah. I would like to add.
Yes, sir.
Usually it takes few decades.
Yes, but I'm saying at least 5 to 7 years.
Not even 5 to 7 years. For
Yes.
a good college, it takes few decades. Then it becomes a brand.
Right.
Then it becomes a distinctiveness. So that is a long process.
Correct.
1 year,
So
2
we
years is
can't
not
change
sufficient.
every year.
Yeah, sure.
Yes.
Professor Sankar has also answered to that question. Sir, would you like to add? Professor Sankar?
Yeah, go ahead. You see, in order to become best, you have to have a third stage. So straight away, you cannot say by introducing a practice a year, you cannot say it is the best practice. It has come out of, you see, your experience doing it, implementing it, facing it, you see, and changes will be there, you see, in its reception, and there will be improvement every year.
Right.
You have to respond to the local conditions and the times. See the change that has come over after the pandemic. In spite of that, you see several best practices have been continued, and how they have evolved, changed, developed, and improved. All these things we have to take into consideration, madam.
Thank
Hope
you.
I'm clear.
Yes, you're very clear, sir. Thank you. There's this other question from Dr. Amarendra. He writes, we are getting ready for cycle 1. Should we prepare AQAR?
No.
No, not needed. Not needed. For first cycle, it is not needed.
Only after
Alright.
submission of the CSSR and getting the result from the next academic year. Yeah.
There's another question from Dr. Amarendra again. Is there any approved list of cells committees for UG college that we must have to form and maintain?
Repeating it again.
Okay. He asks, is there any approved list of cells or committees for undergraduate colleges that we must have?
Yeah, that's
Yes.
what we have been mentioning all these 4 days.
Yes. There is a like
various
that.
criteria, we have different cells.
Yes.
Professor Gauri
Ma'am.
is there.
Yes, few cells are, first is the IQAC cell is compulsory when you will go for the NAC. Then there is a anti-ragging committee or anti-ragging cell, which is compulsory by UGC. Then there is another committee, there is planning and development committee, which is also important from UGC point of view. And another committee is ICC, Internal Complaint Committee or Grievance Redressal Committee, which is also compulsory. There is a Student Welfare Committee, which is also compulsory. And as per the new law of the state and central government, Anti-Sexual Harassment Committee, especially for women, also has to be in place. So these 7 to 8 committees.
Ma'am, one more is remaining, that is reservation committee.
Yes, minority
Committee
cell
for
or reservation committee.
reservation. Yes, that is the
Yes.
most important. One of the most
important.
Yes, sure.
Thank you, ma'am. Let us take another 1 or 2 questions very quickly. This question is from Dr. Nazilna Longcomer. She asked, with regard to code of conduct, can the monitoring agency be the committee itself? Say, if the issue is regarding sexual harassment, can the internal committee address the issue?
Yes, but it is not possible for that committee to monitor the code of conduct. If there is some deviation, then that issue can be sent to the internal complaint committee. Otherwise, then there will be too many more monitoring agencies. That has to be decided by the institution.
Okay.
Okay.
Right.
For that, institution should have a very nice policy. Under that policy, you have to mention the mechanism. What type of mechanism is existing at your institution to monitor such issues?
Right.
Depending upon the size of the college, 1,000, 2,000, 5,000, 500 students, the size of the committee, mechanism of the committee may be different. It is again that is institution specific. So that there is no such fixed mechanism. You can create your own mechanism, legitimate mechanism, which will have certain powers, will have certain responsibilities, will have its work culture too. Years after years, it will have a good work culture, and then it becomes a good thing to go for such type of monitoring. Yeah.
Okay.
Over to you.
Thank you. So we'll take up this last question very quickly, but this question is addressed to Professor Sri Hari Pingle, if he's still around. The question is, the NAC second cycle was due in November 2020, but due to the pandemic and lockdown, the NAC peer team visited the college in September 2021. On receiving the result, an appeal was made to review the result. However, the appeal result is still awaited from the NAC office, though it is already some months now. Therefore, kindly enlighten whether the AQAR will be submitted from the date the result is given, or from the time of the peer team visit, or from the time the second cycle ends.
It was answered on the chat box by me, see, but I'll repeat the answer again. You see, they have some more time, you see, for submission of AQRs up to 15th of March, pending AQRs, if any. 1. the point number 2 I raised there was let them approach the INAC through their portal, reminding them about their appeal and see that it is done. So if it is done, then they can go ahead. They still have 1 more month to submit their AQRs. So the priority should be in getting the appeal resolved. What do you say, Kangde sir?
Yeah. My opinion is a bit different. In
Yes.
spite of going for appeal, it's better to correct your systems. That will be more helpful for your institution. It will save
And I
money
think
and it will improve yourself.
AQR should be submitted on time every year.
Every year.
Yes,
Very good,
whether
very
your
good.
result, whatever your result is, your annual quality report should be submitted every year, whatever it is.
That's what, whether NAC made is compulsory or not, you should have such a policy to prepare
Correct.
such reports, put it in your CDC or LNC or whatever governing council, discuss over that, get the issues discussed, get the solutions, get the policies, and like that. A lot of work can be done on this issue too. Yeah, over to you, ma'am.
I would also like to listen to Pingle sir about this. If he's
I
online.
think he's not
No, I
there.
don't think sir is there.
Okay, right.
He's not there.
Go ahead.
I don't think he's there.
Okay. I think we will move on to the next session. Thank you very much, Mrs. Devastale, for your excellent
Most welcome.
presentation. Okay, thank you. Now we will now proceed to the feedback session. I request the participants who wish to speak to raise your hands, and you will be given the time to speak one after the other. So I request White Coat to kindly unmute the participants with raised hands, and we may proceed.
Ma'am, first declare only 2 to 3 feedback. Otherwise, it will take 1 hour.
Right. Due to time constraint, we will take 2 to 3 feedbacks. And I'm sure there will be many participants who wish to express their valuable perspective. But due to time constraint, again, so with the permission of the IQAC cluster and the organizing committee, you may email IQAC cluster and also write in the WhatsApp group.
Yes, they can write feedback in the chat box or in the WhatsApp group also.
Right.
A Telegram group.
And the Telegram group, right.
Anyone who wish to speak now can just say a few lines about this.
Professor Shobha, Professor Chamundeshwari, you've been raising questions in the chat box. Have they been unmuted? That's the issue. I think why?
Hello.
Yes, sir. Yes. So please unmute everyone. I think let's unmute everyone. We'll take 1 or 2 feedbacks, 1, 2, 3 feedbacks at the most. Yeah, please.
Kindly unmute all so that they can raise their issues or at least ask a question or give feedback.
White Coat people unmute all participants, therefore come forward and give feedback.
All are unmuted. All are unmuted.
All are unmuted.
Yes.
Hello, ma'am. Hello.
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
I am Kaleshwari from
Madam, would you mind being louder and clearer?
Shankar sir, there is weak connectivity. That's why I hope that sound not clear.
Yes, less connectivity.
Are you able to hear this?
Yes.
Now? Am I audible, sir? Associate Professor in GVG Visalakshi College, Udumalpet, in Department of
Tamil
Zoology.
Nadu.
So the 4 days, yes, sir, from Tamil Nadu. The 4 days we have attended very well. That is, the session was very, very nice. And all the presenters, and they have done very well. And information about all the criteria are good. And madam, today she has done very, very well, excellent presentation she has done. So now more ideas are good, but it is practically difficult to follow. But yeah, all of with our teaching and other activities for the criteria, we are very feeling very difficult to continue. But anyhow, we are doing it for the 5 years or 6 years means that is taking for more years. That is very difficult. We are having more duties, but excellently they have done their presentation. All the experts. So thank you so much.
If you will do for 5-6 years, though, you will not feel that you are doing extra work.
Yes,
Okay.
ma'am. But we
Like
have to.
You are cooking at home for so many years now. You don't feel cooking as tension, right?
Now
if you
we are
do
having that
documentation
corona.
every day, you will not feel documentation. You will not feel as tension.
Adat ho
Yes, yes.
jayega.
But
Ah.
every time if we had done, no problem during the NAC. Now we are
Yes.
starting that every year we are updating it.
Yes.
All the information what you have presented by you are very well. Nice. Thank you very much, ma'am.
So
Okay.
teachers should think themselves as the agent of transformation. That is the actual
Correct.
role of teacher. Not teaching is
No,
not the
madam.
only role. Yeah.
If you every year submit the AQR, for submission the AQR, we are collecting all documents. Therefore, it is easy after 4 years or 5 years to submit the SSR. This is a very regular practice
Yes,
for that.
sir.
Yeah.
Now we are following it, sir. Thank you.
Okay.
Next participant. Anyone else?
Hi, sir. I'm Praveen, and I have been attending these this course regularly, and I enjoyed it because.
Which college, sir? Which state? Which college?
Yes. Sorry, sir. I'm Praveen Shetty from Government First Grade College, Hiryadka. It is in Udupi, in Karnataka.
Okay.
Wonderful.
Yeah. Recently, I got this responsibility of the coordinator of IQAC, and I did not know much about it. I attended some FDPs, but this one was very good. And in terms of quality, I should say the resource persons gave the best. So you have maintained quality in this, I should say.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Very nice. Someone from Nagaland. We are expecting feedback from Nagaland.
One more thing, sir. I feel that I downloaded this cluster app, IQAC cluster app, and I feel that I still get connected to you even though this workshop is over. I thank Nagaland College and IQAC cluster for organizing such a wonderful event. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Someone from the state, Nagaland state, or some northeast states. We want to. Yeah.
Afternoon, sir.
Yes, good afternoon.
Yeah, I'm from Manipur University, Imphal, Manipur.
Very nice. Your name,
and,
please.
This program is very useful to me.
Thank you.
I give my congratulations to the organizing team first, and then we are theoretically these programs, these valuable items are very hard to follow, but it will be very easy if we manage practically in due course of time. And from this organizing committee, such type of this program, if organized in a frequent manner, then we will be very handy in future.
Sir, I would like to know you that this is not the only first or second program. Such type of hundreds of such type of programs have been organized by the cluster, and we are very fortunate this time that we could get a association with the South Chang College, and thereby this
Yes.
particular program could be possible. So we are very happy, really very happy to help you all people as a
Already
cluster.
we have done in other states, in
Yes.
Madhya Pradesh, Delhi, many other states we have already done.
Thank you,
Gujarat,
Veda.
Karnataka,
Thank you.
Tamil Nadu.
Yes.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir. Very good.
Okay, thank you. There is some Koyank, Dr. C.H. Manwang Koyank. She has raised hand. Please, ma'am.
I am Manwang Konyak from Monvale College, Nagaland. We are very thankful for this workshop. And to tell you the truth, our college is a new college, just a few months old. So I was thinking if the panel can give advice to a new college like ours.
Yes, why not? We can give advice. You ask your difficulties on the group or on the app, whatever difficulties are raised, we will answer.
Okay, thank you so much. Because most of the things here is new to us and we
Yes,
will
yes.
need a lot of help.
Right. By listening only once, it will be not so easy for you to implement.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
True.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Yeah.
Hello. I think with that, we can conclude our feedback session.
Yes.
And like I said before, you may write in to IQAC through the email or write in the WhatsApp or even the Telegram. So let us proceed to the next session.
Hello.
Yeah, go ahead, Mr. Kumar, go ahead.
Sir, this is Dr. P.J. Kumar from Akine Nageswara College, principal, sir. Sir, this workshop is very useful to us. We are learning a lot from the IQAC cluster, sir. We expect more events like this to enlighten us. Thank you, one and all, sir.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Kumar.
Thank you.
Hello,
I
sir.
now request White Coat to kindly mute all the participants so that we may proceed to the next meeting, next session. Thank you. So let us move on to the last session of this workshop, which is the valedictory function. Our guest speaker is Dr. S. Sankar, retired principal and advisor, Akineni Nageshwara Rao College. He is currently the advisor of IQAC cluster. Dr. S. Sankar has a teaching experience of 38 years, published many books, and has organized several national level seminars and workshops. I will just highlight some of his notable achievements here amongst many due to time constraint. Dr. Sankar is the recipient of the Best Teacher Award from the Government of Andhra Pradesh in 2005. He is member of the Andhra Pradesh State Level Committee from Krishna University and was instrumental in preparing the CBCS curriculum for UG English. He has also been appointed by Andhra Pradesh State Council of Higher Education for preparing the NAC manuals in curricular practices and best practices for affiliated and autonomous colleges. I now give the time to our esteemed guest speaker, Dr. Sankar. Sir, you may please take over.
Thank you, ma'am, for the nice words of introduction. Am I audible? Am I audible and visible? Okay, right,
Yes.
right. Go ahead. It's very heartening to associate myself with this college, South Chang College, Nagaland. Grades do not A's or B's or C's. They just wanted to learn and keep learning, you see. They contacted our cluster, IQAC cluster. I'll have to say a few words about the cluster itself. Started around 2018 by a band of committed teachers from Maharashtra, visionaries, Gangude sir, Bole sir, and most of all, Pahade sir, who recruited, identified, and associated with, you see, several people, Pingle sir, Pawar, Gauri Devastale, Gaikwad, Karwande. You see, so many people, you see, who have been doing human service for quality sustenance initiatives throughout the country. COVID-19 has not restricted the activities of IQAC cluster. We are not here to compete with one another, but we are here to cooperate with one another. That's what I have been told. In fact, you see, I joined in 2019 May in the cluster Telegram group. And it was Kangude sir who requested me to be the admin for the Telugu states around December of 2019. Then when the cluster body, these visionaries from Maharashtra wanted to go for registration as for the Registrar of Societies Maharashtra Act, they contacted one retired principal, now speaking to you, one retired principal from Andhra Pradesh who belongs to the 72-year-old Akkineni Nageshwarrao College, Gudiwada. It's in a very rural region. We are away from the nearest municipality by 4 or 5 kilometers, and we are very close to a village called Bhushanagulla. From that place, this person has been invited to be the advisor, along with one more madam, you see, from Karnataka, Dr. Badrunisa. We have been, you see, chosen to represent the cluster, you see, in its meetings, or guide them, learn from them, advise them, and share with them, you see, what all we know and what all they know. It's a kind of, you see, learning experience for all of us. It's a wonderful chance. There have been, you see, several webinars like this throughout the length and breadth of India, from Dehradun to Thoothukudi, where our own clusterite Lily Golda is doing is a wonderful service. Just as in other areas, our own people are doing this kind of quality sustenance work. Several people keep saying, we are in self-financed colleges. Recruitment is not being taken up, you see, even in government colleges or in private aided colleges. What are we to do? There is a lot of work in IQAC in preparing, you see, the SSR or in preparing AQRs every year. Look at this college in one of the remotest parts of the country. I think, you see, this initiative from SCC College has made the IQAC cluster more pan-Indian. We thank the organizers, we thank the initiative taken by the IQAC of this college, the principal, the dynamic principal, and the ebullient, jovial, you see, friendly, always smiling, the IQAC coordinator from SCC College, and the madam who has been coordinating, you see, all these days with a smile on her face ever. What more can you expect? I know it is difficult. Any quality sustenance initiative is not easy. You see, you know, every day it is going on in your own house. Every day it is going on in your own college. So we are here to support you in any endeavor, in every endeavor related to quality sustenance. 24/7, that's what we promise. And sometimes issues are raised at 11 o'clock. Sometimes Pahade sir posts information at 12:30. Kangude sir and Ayub sir, you see, keeps answering all on any item, every item, you see, we keep posting matters. It's not just guiding, advising. We also keep sending circulars related to UGC or related to NAC to the IQAC clusterites on the Telegram app or the IQAC cluster app. And also there is a director principal WhatsApp group. If you want to admit your principal or IQAC coordinator in the direct principal group, you see, kindly contact us. We'll also take them in. Don't lose heart. We can do it. The initiatives of UGC, the initiatives of NAC are being supported by the IQAC cluster, an independent organization, a non-profit organization, an organization which is conscious of its national responsibility of introducing quality. And we are also committed to the core values of NAC. The first core value of NAC is contributing to national development through quality sustenance initiative, which the IQAC cluster has been taking up. Then fostering global competencies among students. You would not believe IQAC cluster has come up with programs for training students of colleges, and several colleges have associated themselves with the IQAC cluster for getting training for their students and inculcating a value system, not only among teachers and colleges, but also among students, and promoting the use of technology. You see, look at the way COVID has actually taught people to use technology, but even prior to that, IQAC cluster has been using it wonderfully well. And look at the presentation, wonderful presentation. Look at Pingal sir, Gauri Devastali's presentation today. See their PPTs, their graphics, their awe-inspiring. They are speaking essays. The pictures are speaking essays themselves. You see, wonderful presentations they have. That's promoting the use of technology. And in all these, the fifth point of NAC is quest for excellence, doing something not just good, not just better, trying to reach the best stage of excellence. That is what we aim at. These are some of the things I just wanted to share. And I'm very happy, see, a college which started as a night college, converted into, say, a day college, got to see sciences and arts, and it's flourishing. It's a shot in the arm for quality sustenance initiatives, and everybody should learn from their experience and go ahead for accreditation by NAC. And Ayub sir is coming very shortly with PAC program on PAC, provisional accreditation certificate, you see, for colleges which have not gone for NAC accreditation till now, or even those colleges which went for NAC accreditation, say 5 years back, 10 years back, and dropped, not submitted a single AQR, but in spite of that, they want to go for NAC accreditation, they can go for PAC. And kindly enroll yourselves in that program being promoted by the IQAC cluster. Contact Ayub sir or contact the cluster. This is some of the things that I just wanted to share here in the 7 or 8 minutes that have been allotted to me. Kangode sir, if I'm given the chance, I'll keep on going, but I will end here with best wishes for all the participants from all states. We from Andhra, Maharashtra visionaries, Nagaland pioneers, and all the participants from the length and breadth of India has made this an excellent get together today. Today is a very special day for me also, but I will reveal later it to the clusterites. Thank you so much for inviting me. Bye.
Thank you, sir.
Very impressive. Go ahead, sir.
Professor Walling, now it's over to you.
Unmute yourself, take a minute.
Hello, Miss Lima.
Yes, please.
Hello,
Please,
Miss Lima, are you there? Okay, the moderator, I think she's finding some technical issues. Let's go to the next, that is the vote of thanks. Now I give time to Dr. L.J. Nikin Chamir, Associate Professor, Department of History, National Workshop Secretary. Now the time is yours, sir.
Thank you, moderator, Ms. Lima, for the time. Respected Principal in Charge, Chang College, Tuensang, IQAC cluster, resource persons, and all the esteemed participants. I, on behalf of the Planning Committee of Chang College, Tuensang, would like to share a few words of our profound thankfulness and gratitude I feel highly honored for proposing my name to deliver a few words of thanks without consuming much time on protocol. First of all, I thank the principal in charge, Sri Longdisang Chutir, for permitting the planning committee of Southern College to organize this workshop. I also thank and share our sincere thanks, gratitude, and thanks to IQAC cluster who readily came forward without any hesitation and contributed immensely for the success of this workshop. I also express thankfulness and gratitude to all the learned resource persons, Professor Piyush Pahadi, Dr. Santosh Karvandi, Dr. Deepak Nanavari, Dr. Heman Chandak, Professor Parad Kangudi, Dr. Ayub Shahik, Dr. Sanjay Kaiwak, Professor Sri Hari Pingli, and Professor Madam Gauri Devastali for your insightful speeches and sharing your in-depth knowledge to the participants for the benefit of all. I also thank the White Coat team for your constant technical support for the smooth conduct of our online workshop. I also extend special thanks to Professor Parad Kankuti, who mobilized all the resource persons free of cost and played pivotal role to the success of this workshop. I also thank Dr. S. Shankar, who kindly consented to be the guest speaker in our valedictory function. I again express my gratitude to all the moderators for conducting and anchoring all the sessions smoothly and beautifully. Thank you, moderators. I also extend my sincere thanks to all the participants. There were more than 230 registered participants from 16 Indian states. We are very grateful to you who willingly accepted our invitation and became a part of this workshop. We valued your participation, without which this workshop would happen missed. I again thank all the people who work behind the screen for the success of this workshop. Last but not the least, I express my sincere thanks and gratitude to, we can see, another very important person, Mr. Tiraman Walling, Assistant Professor, Department of Botany, Southern College, Tuensang, and the coordinator of our workshop. Without whose hard work, sincerity, and contribution, this workshop could not happen as success. Thank you, Mr. Walling. We are looking forward that in the days to come, let us help each other and join together in our nation building. I, on behalf of the organizing committee, declare the 4 days national workshop on the preparation of revised Aqar successfully completed. Thank you all once again.
Thank you, Dr. Niken. Sorry, my internet went So yeah, anyway, so I would like to thank you, Dr. Sankar. We feel highly motivated after your with renewed vigor. Thank you so much, sir. I wish you all the best in all your future endeavors. I would also like to reiterate that Sao Chang College needs your guidance. So kindly continue to bless and guide us with your knowledge, sir. Thank you so much, Dr. Sir. So with that, I officially announce the end of the workshop. I now hand over the charge to the workshop coordinator, Mr. Walling.
Thank you to all the IQAC cluster, without which this workshop wouldn't be a success. Thank you to the white coat software, without which we couldn't able to register, and without which the participants couldn't able to attend this wonderful program. I also give thanks to all the resource person who willingly helped the Northeast, especially the Northeast, to learn more about what Aqar really means. I wish that we can conduct more workshops, professional programs in the days to come. Thank you all and God bless you all.
Bye. Good night. Bye.
Morning, sir. Best organization. Congratulations to you and
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. We'll meet again like that.
Your principal and your team.
Thank you, sir. We'll be organizing such workshops in the day to come with the help of IQAC cluster.
Yes.
Just remind them, you see that the link is already sent in the chat box.
Yes. Dear participants, kindly fill up the link because the link will not be shared in the WhatsApp group. If any participants find difficulties or not receive the certificate, they can let me know through my personal WhatsApp. Kindly don't share your grievances in the WhatsApp group. Thank you all. Thank you all. Good night.
Good night. Good night. Hello.
Hello, Professor Gangwati.
Okay.
Hello, Professor Gangwati.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, thank you so much, sir.
Sir.
Yeah. We have been almost 1.5 months in constant contact and in touch. Everything we shared between us, and that's why this particular activity could be possible. So as far as the Sao Chang College is concerned, Professor Walling is one of the very important and instrumental function. Nowadays onward, or today onward, we will call him to be our brand ambassador in the Northeast. So Walling sir, now more responsibility is with you. You have to spread this message. You have to go ahead. All support and everything will be provided by this cluster for the future activities too.
Yeah, thank you so much.
So with this
Yeah.
yeah, nice work has been done. Thank you.
Thank you. Good night, you all.
Yes. Yeah.
We expect from you same thing.
Yes, sir.
To enhance the quality in Northeast region.
Sir.
Okay. Okay. Let's stop.
Okay,
Let's stop
good
now.
night.
Yeah. Let's stop.
Okay. Stop now.
Yes.